everyone. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. We're talking everything World Wide Web, from protecting your personal information from being sold to keeping your kids safe online.
Right now is the deadliest time on roads for teen drivers. That's according to AAA. We talk with one parent and her teen driver about how they stay safe on the road.
Sure, you can use your Fitbit to count your steps, but in one American city, you can also use it for a very different kind of travel. We'll tell you about it coming up. This is News Center Now.
Evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Nelson. We're glad you're with us. What if you could prevent companies from selling your personal information? That's what one bill in the legislature is looking to accomplish, stopping the companies that offer us internet, like Spectrum or Verizon, from making money off their customers' personal data. Chris Costa is here to talk more about this, how it's all working. Chris?
Yeah, Lee and Lindsay, the bill still has a long way to go before it would actually become a law, but it would put the power in the hands of you, the consumer. And you could choose to opt in to having your info sold. Opponents, though, say this bill only gives a false sense of privacy. It's pretty tough for most people to live without going online.
When I'm awake, I'm connected to the internet.
Every time Seth DeRozier logs on, the company that sells his internet access gets information about him and sells that to advertisers.
I don't think it should be allowed as it is right now.
A Maine bill would require those internet service providers like Spectrum or Verizon to ask customers to opt in to having their information sold. The Trump administration overturned a similar national rule in 2017, and opponents say state-by-state restrictions are bad policy too. However,
every single thing you do, every bit of information goes through that one source, and they have access to everything you do online.
Technology expert Jared Maxfield says opting in to having your info sold is more transparent than having consumers opt out.
Oftentimes, many consumers are not even going to know that's an option, let alone take advantage of it if they do. So requiring someone to opt in takes away a lot of that control from the service provider and gives it back to the consumer.
Shouldn't the consumer have some responsibility, though, to know what they're agreeing to?
Absolutely. I mean, the consumer is always technically the one in charge, but let's be realistic. It's just long and convoluted, and most people just don't take the time to read and understand it.
Sites that are otherwise free, like Google or Facebook, require people to agree to those terms and conditions. Seth doesn't mind targeted ads, but feels more sensitive about data like his location.
And I think that should be more protected than, say, what I'm shopping on Amazon.
So the House has actually amended the effective start date of this bill to July 1st of 2020. Okay. So it would actually give internet service providers like your Spectrum or your Verizon time to get used to these new rules.
Interesting.
Got it. Probably would. They would need a little time, I would imagine.
And there's so much about this that happens every single day. Like we talk about the free sites like Google and Facebook and Amazon. As soon as you use those sites and agree to those terms and conditions, that's what they're getting as a price from you, is your data. Right. But the things we already pay for are getting extra money by taking our data and selling it to advertisers. So that's what's up for debate in this bill.
Got it. All right, very interesting, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And hey, while we're on the topic of protecting yourself online, what about our kids? With summer vacation right around the corner, it is safe to say their internet use is probably going to go up a bit.
Yeah, a new study shows Maine ranks among the lowest in the country when it comes to protecting children from online things like cyberbullying and sexting. So we wanted to ask the experts about warning signs and how to prevent it.
If the conversation starts getting inappropriate and they start asking for pictures and locations and asking somebody to meet them somewhere, then those are definitely some red flags that you should be aware of.
Those with MEMA, the Maine Emergency Management Agency, say another red flag is seclusion. If you find your child is spending more time in their room or alone while using devices, or if they're being secretive about who or what they're doing online or who they are meeting up with.
Yeah, there are apps that have been created for parents to monitor this activity, but experts say something as simple as open and honest dialogue with your child about what they are doing online can be just as efficient. It's important for kids to understand the dangers that could come from adding somebody they don't know on Facebook or Instagram, and the consequences that can come from sharing sensitive information.
They sign in or they check in to various locations so that maybe their friends will know to meet up with them. However, they may have friends that have some not so good intentions. You're kind of putting a little too much information out there. As much as we want to trust our kids, they're kids and they're not always thinking rationally. And it's really up to parents to kind of stay on top of their activities and make sure that they're protected.
Yeah, now the folks at MEMA say if something inappropriate does happen online, you should report it to your local authorities immediately. And if you'd like to learn more information about keeping your kids safe online or the resources available to you, head to our website and mobile app.
Yeah, Keith, you're already keeping tabs on Luca's little cell phone, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, it's funny. We run a story a day that's like the internet is a scary place, and we're like, cool, still gonna use it. That's pretty much.
Still not my problem yet.
Well, we have to now. We have to use it now.
Yeah,
but
go to our website to learn about how the websites are bad. Or you can use the app to learn about how apps are bad too. Either way. All right, we started with a lot of clouds this morning, and this is an evolution over 12 hours. And look at the morning through the afternoon, how we started to clear out and ended up with a decent day. A lot of spots, some sunshine. You can see where the sun hit, getting into the upper 60s or at least mid 60s. Paris, Rumford, and at Rangeley at 66 degrees, but the coastline stuck in the 50s. That marine influence is strong, 66 in Millinocket and over Foxcroft as well. So it was away from the coast was a good day kind of day. And now we've got a couple of showers coming in. This batch with some severe weather should miss to our south. It's actually this area right here, which is a cold front that's going to drag through tonight and give us some showers. It's going to be scattered stuff, though. A lot of us will end up getting away with it and not getting any of these showers. There's the front. Watch it come down from Quebec down into the mountains where there could be a rumble of thunder, and then kind of offshore by 3, 4 in the morning. Friday, guys, looks like a good day, the good day of the week. Around 70 degrees and sunny. The weekend's still looking pretty split, but we'll take 1 out of 2 days because we have no choice.
Exactly.
Sunday's not terrible. We'll talk more about it. It's not bad.
Good. Right. You're just setting sights low.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, thanks, Heath.
In the headlines tonight, President Donald Trump is muddying the waters over Russia's involvement in the 2016 election. He tweeted today, quote, "I had nothing to do with Russia helping me to get elected." The tweet came a day after special counsel Robert Mueller spoke about his investigation into Russian election meddling and contacts with the Trump presidential campaign. Mueller claimed his report did not exonerate the president.
China is warning that Beijing may cut America off from rare earth minerals that are widely used to make electric cars and mobile phones, among them something called bastnaesite. Now, these comments were made following trade sanctions and a U.S. clampdown on China's top telecommunications company, Huawei. China is leaving the negotiation door open, though, saying agreements can be reached if the U.S. is willing to treat them equally and with mutual respect.
A push to add a star to the American flag for a 51st state is gaining support in Congress. Who would it represent? The people of Washington, D.C. D.C. has a non-voting representative. Her name is Eleanor Holmes Norton, and she just announced a crucial first step in a long-running campaign to make the nation's capital a state. The House Committee on Oversight and Reform will hold a July 24th hearing. D.C. residents currently cannot elect senators nor voting members of Congress, and all local laws there must be approved by the federal government.
Also, real quick, the Maine House has approved a bill that would ban single-use plastic shopping bags statewide. The Senate is going to vote for it next. Coming up, Uber is trying to set higher standards for the behaviors of both drivers and riders.
And this comes as no surprise to some, but teens are distracted behind the wheel. Safety lessons from a teen driver and her mom ahead of the busy summer, which is reportedly the deadliest time on roads for teens. Welcome back, everyone. A new study is suggesting there may be a connection between a popular Netflix show and teen suicide.
Now, we are talking about the show 13 Reasons Why. Researchers in Austria studied suicide numbers in the months before and after the release of that show in 2017, which is a fictional show about a 17-year-old girl who takes her own life. Now, in the 3 months after its release, there was a 13% increase in suicide among young people between the ages of 10 and 19, and especially among girls. However, the researchers also pointed out that there's no way to determine if those who died by suicide had actually watched the series. And of course, if you have any thoughts of suicide, please call the main crisis hotline. The number is 1-888-568-1112. Now, fewer Americans are being diagnosed with diabetes.
And it's a big drop. According to the CDC, new cases of diabetes are down 35% after peaking in 2009. And officials say the number of people already living with the disease has remained stable during the past 8 years. The cause of the decline is unclear, but changes in diet, physical activity, and screening practices may play a part. According to the CDC, more than 30 million Americans are living with diabetes, and a quarter don't realize they have it.
One more health note for you, too. Social media may be the key to increasing HIV testing among people at high risk, including gay men. Researchers studied a popular gay dating app. It's called Blued, which has 27 million users in China. And between 2015 and 2017, the app launched an HIV testing campaign in Beijing. Experts say there was a sharp increase in testing in young gay men following that campaign.
Coming up on News Center Now, most people use a Fitbit to track their steps or something like that. However, they can rack up the miles in a different way in some of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah, Keith has been tracking the weather all day. His forecast is next. Probably no surprise to you that summer is the most dangerous time on the roads for teen drivers. This is from research from the AAA Foundation.
Drinking and driving, speeding, and distraction are the factors to blame. One teen driver is sharing some words of advice for not just her peers, but anyone behind the wheel.
It can be super tempting. Like sometimes I just want to be like, look over and just see who it is.
16-year-old Julia McKenna.
It's just not worth it.
Keeps her phone in the center console every time she gets behind the wheel.
It's a temptation, and you just kind of have to put it somewhere where you can't get to it or turn it off so you can't hear it.
Julia's mom, Dana, says it can be a little stressful handing the keys over to her kids. Julia is her second child to get a driver's license.
She's doing a great job.
However, new numbers from AAA show not all teens are like Julia.
Teens are making mistakes. They're making some bad decisions out there.
And the consequences are deadly. In the last 5 years, according to the AAA Foundation, crashes involving teen drivers claim the lives of nearly 3,500 people.
We do naturalistic research where we take video footage from inside the vehicle where we can see out the window, back inside the car, and we can see exactly what happens in the seconds leading up to a crash.
The teens in these videos were not seriously hurt. Because more teens are out of school and on the roads in the summertime, the days between Memorial Day and Labor Day are called the 100 deadliest days. But there are things you can do as a driver or the parent of a young driver.
Do not disturb while driving.
That setting is available on your phone. It automatically responds to texts for you. And parents can set ground rules. For Dana McKenna, that means protecting her daughter.
These are our curfews. These are our rules. Make it very clear. Everybody understands it, and then stick to them. If you don't, it's like anything else. They're just going to say, well, it happened this time, so it'll be okay the next time.
And according to that newly released crash data from AAA from 2013 to 2017, 9% of deadly teen crashes are related to distraction, 17% drinking and driving, and 28% speeding. And AAA officials believe that distraction is underreported when it comes to that data.
I would think so.
Definitely. I'm on record as saying the law on texting driving should be really harsh. Like if you get caught 2 times, you get 6 months suspended license. Something like that.
We were just talking about this the other day.
Yeah, because it's just I drive when I see it constantly.
Yeah. You see it constantly.
And it's not age restrictive.
No, it's not. And when you ride a motorcycle, you're doubly worried about it.
Yeah,
sure.
Just a quick lane change
next to someone and they're on their phone. It's really scary.
Yeah, it seems like people aren't getting it, so it needs to be like a harsher situation. All right. Anyways, in the meantime, today we had what along the coastline an hour and a half of nice weather, more or less. There was a really nice period of time in there, but Didn't last too long. Now, inland, there was more sunshine. You can see on the satellite that we did pretty well. Freiburg, the foothills did really well, and up 95 into Bangor, northward to Old Town as well. But for the most part, we were in and out of clouds today, and temperatures struggled. Now, you can see where the sun was, 72 in Berlin for a high, and where it really wasn't, Bar Harbor, Rockland, 57 apiece. The ocean influence notable there. We've got some showers coming in, not actually so much from this direction. There's a cold front up into Canada. That's going to swing down. A lot of this to the south will miss us to our south. It's basically almost going due east, so it won't be a direct hit for us. But a couple of showers tonight, nothing overly aggressive. And the hour-by-hour forecast showing you cloudy skies, temperatures in the 50s. And then here comes that front. It's pretty sharp to begin with, around 11 to midnight, and then starts moving towards the coastline, dissipating a bit, maybe a few showers along the coast from that batch that will miss us largely. And then tomorrow we start off with some clouds. Don't be discouraged, though. We're sunny from mid-morning through the afternoon. It's by far the nicest day of the work week. Temperatures in the low 70s in a lot of spots and upper 60s at worst, and just a good looking day. Overnight Friday is quiet, and then Saturday is pretty good. It's not amazing, but we've got some sun in there. Now watch temperatures along the coastline on Saturday. We get into the 60s for a brief period of time, and then we just get sea breeze back down into the mid-50s in the afternoon. So just be aware that away from the coast will be much warmer in the mid and upper 60s there. Overall, our pattern continues to be active. Saturday looks good. Sunday doesn't look terrible. I'm really torn on it because I think the showers are just slow enough that we'll stay dry through a good part of Sunday, especially along the coastline, before showers move in Sunday afternoon into Sunday night and then drag that front through on Monday. All right, take a look at this. Not what you want to see. Going out 15 days on the European model, and we don't have a day that's over 73 according to this. Now, it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be right, but it's not a great sign, you know, as far as what's likely to happen. That red line, by the way, is average, and realistically, we're not too far away from average. I think the bigger factor has certainly been cloud cover. You know, for May, we're not running that far below average, but we've got these days where we're not seeing much sun. So we'll do better tomorrow, Saturday, Tuesday, but in general, we're still a little cloudy, still a little showery through next week.
You know, the showers aren't all that bad, trying to find the silver lining here. There's like a thin layer of pollen that I've seen, you know, out there on the sidewalks and on my car, and at least the rain kind of washes that away temporarily.
It does, but then it's like Little Shop of Horrors when it's sunny because everything blooms at once. So, you know, we'll break out of it eventually, but the clouds have been the bigger problem.
Sure have. Sure have. All right, Keith, thank you. From Little Shop of Horrors to this. If you are headed to New York City this summer, there will be a new and pretty convenient way to pay for your subway ride or your bus ride.
This is kind of cool, I think. You can just use your Fitbit. Starting tomorrow, subway and bus riders in the Big Apple can use their Fitbits to pay for select buses and trains. That's as long as your Fitbit is equipped with Fitbit Pay. And during this pilot program, public transit will also accept Google Pay and Apple Pay. Fitbit Pay is also available with transit systems in Chicago and 5 other cities overseas.
Uber is going to hold drivers and riders accountable for their behavior. The word is riders in the U.S. and Canada could lose access to Uber if they develop a significantly below average rating. Uber says riders will get tips and several opportunities to improve their scores prior to losing access. For example, Uber will offer tips encouraging polite behavior, keeping the car clean, avoiding requests for drivers to exceed the speed limit. While average driver ratings vary by city, the company hasn't disclosed exactly what rating will lead to a rider actually being deactivated.
Facebook, yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. Facebook is making it easier for consumers to report bugs on its site.
Yeah, all you have to do is shake your phone to file a report when you encounter a bug. According to Engadget, Facebook's Shake to Report feature will soon be available as a default setting on both iOS and Android. It was previously only available as an opt-in feature on iOS. So a pop-up menu will appear on your screen and you simply shake your phone. However, bugs can still be reported through Facebook's help and support menu as well. The feature should be available to everybody within the next 2 weeks.
And check out this marvelous cardboard creation that transforms a North Carolina teen from superfan to superhero. This is pretty incredible. That's 15-year-old Jason Lambert behind the mask of his intricate Iron Man costume. It was handmade with cardboard and a hot glue gun at his home. The high schooler knew his family couldn't afford the materials to create a traditional cosplay costume, so like Tony Stark himself, Lambert used his intellect and imagination and 700 hours of his time to fashion his own costume. He hopes to become an engineer someday, and I think with those skills, he's on the right track.
Absolutely. Wow.
Wow. Something else, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Very
Sydney's here
ingenious.
With an update on what's coming up at 5:30. Sorry.
Yeah, oh, that's all right. We got a lot more news coming up in the next half hour. The Death with Dignity bill has now passed the Maine Senate. There's another vote in the House, but it is looking like people with less than 6 months to live might get the chance to go out on their own terms and have a choice other than starving to death in hospice. Plus, more than 100 students from high schools are at USM in Gorham nominated by their schools to attend this program to become the leaders of tomorrow. And one way organizers are describing this, which is pretty cool, is it's a judgment-free zone where a person can learn to develop their own story, which I really like. Those stories and more all ahead in the next half hour.
Interesting. Very cool. We'll see you guys on News Center Maine at 5:30.
It's a plan.
Back with Brain Drops after this.
All right, today's Brain Drops is a visual one. We actually got two. Let's start with. We're going to start with the. Okay. Yep. This is lightning. A couple days ago, 3 days ago, in Kansas, and just watch this again.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
I definitely want to see this happen again. That was crazy. It looked like a hand.
Oh. It's like an ad
Bummer.
for better internet right now.
Yeah. Look, we're gonna do a
let's do it
little
again.
refresh.
Let's do it again. Oh.
Here we go.
Live television. So good. Okay. All right.
Here we go. This is so cool. That was worth the wait.
So cool. So what you're seeing is, we've talked about this before, that they're called stepped leaders. And so every object is sending up a signal to the cloud and saying, hey, you can connect with me and make lightning. So at one point it was diffused and it was trying to connect with just flat spots on the field there. And then all of a sudden it found a better, stronger step leader and congealed into one larger strike. And so this happens. Sometimes it happens in the opposite direction, or sometimes it forks down. But that was a particularly brilliant
Looked like
one.
a firework.
Isaac, did we find this other? I just saw this on social media. I thought this was one of the cooler pictures. So these are storm chasers, and he's proposing to his boyfriend in front of a tornado.
Wow.
There's a couple of things about this, like, it's hard. You can go storm chasing for 10 days and never get a tornado. So to time that right, get the picture, and then hopefully say yes within 15 minutes or so before that tornado gets there.
That's one way to make sure they answer quickly.
Yes, exactly. One way or another.
The week of tornadoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.